Hey everyone, welcome back. This explainer is brought to you by Forge College. So, in our last explainer, we got into the weeds of on-chain storage strategies for metadata. Today, we are shifting gears to security, specifically tackling the blueprints for securing hybrid Web2 Solana APIs. Because let's be real, when you're building across decentralized and centralized worlds, leaving the front door unlocked is a terrible idea. Today, we are mastering OAuth and JWT integration patterns.
All right, let's take a quick look at our blueprint for today's explainer. We've got the hybrid auth challenge, mapping OAuth flows, the anatomy of a JWT, keys and life cycles, a real-world Node.js implementation, and finally, our key takeaways. Let's jump right in.
Section 1, the hybrid auth challenge, securing the gates.
Okay, so our metadata is safely sitting on-chain, right? But now we have a totally new problem. We need a rock-solid, absolutely strict ticket booth to control exactly who gets into our hybrid applications. You have to understand the difference between the rules of the ticket booth and the ticket itself. OAuth is basically the rigorous background check, the framework, the rules. And the JWT, the JSON Web Token, that's your shiny, mathematically verifiable VIP badge that you wear around your neck once you're actually cleared to go inside. Moving on to Section 2, mapping OAuth flows, choosing the right lane. Now, since humans clicking around on web browsers and automated server bots have completely different threat models, our ticket booth needs dedicated lanes. If you've got a human on a browser or mobile device, they should always use the auth code with PKCE lane. Basically, PKCE keeps your tokens completely off that vulnerable browser surface. On the flip side, automated backend services, they take the client credentials service elevator. It's strictly machine-to-machine trust, no humans allowed. And you might see the implicit flow floating around out there in old tutorials. Yeah, think of that as an outdated VIP list scrawled on a cocktail napkin. It is a massive security risk, legacy stuff. Just consider that lane permanently closed for construction.
Section 3, anatomy of a JWT. Inspecting the badge.
So, once you pass the ticket booth, you're handed this JWT. And honestly, it is a beautifully simple piece of engineering. It's literally just 3 specific parts separated by dots. First up, you have the header, which just declares the cryptographic algorithm being used. Second is the payload, which holds the actual claims or the data. And finally, the signature. This mathematically guarantees that nobody has tampered with the badge. Because it's a fully self-contained structure, any downstream API bouncer can look at it and verify its integrity on the spot. No need to constantly radio back to central headquarters to see if the badge is legit.
Let's zoom in on that payload for a second. These claims aren't just passive data. They are active security features. You've got IS telling us who issued it, sub for the subject holding it, and JTI, which is a unique ID to prevent replay attacks. But the real heavy hitters here are EXP and odd. The expiration claim acts exactly like a self-destruct timer on a secret agent's message. And the audience claim strictly enforces where the token can be used. It makes sure a badge minted specifically for a highly sensitive Solana bridging service cannot possibly be maliciously reused at your general web server. It is precision-guided access.
All right, Section 4, keys and life cycles, the security patrol.
Now, those VIP badges are really only as good as the signatures on them, right? When it comes to signing a JWT, you've basically got 2 choices. Symmetric signing, like HMAC SHA, is kind of like a secret handshake. Both the issuer and the validator have to know the exact same secret, which is fine for a tiny app, but an absolute nightmare to scale securely. On the other hand, asymmetric signing, using algorithms like RSA, is absolutely perfect for hybrid apps. Picture keeping your signing pen locked deep inside a bank vault. That's your private key. Then you publish a public wanted poster, your public key. That way, absolutely anyone in your distributed architecture can verify the signature without ever needing to see the secret pen inside the vault.
And look, we have to assume the internet is a deeply hostile place. That's why we use super short-lived access tokens, often expiring in just a few minutes. This drastically shrinks the blast radius if one happens to get swiped. But obviously, you don't want your users logging in every 5 minutes. So we use refresh tokens behind the scenes. The client securely hands over the refresh token to get a new access token. And here is the real kicker. We constantly rotate them. Every single time a refresh token is used, we issue a brand new one and nuke the old one. If a hacker tries to use an old stolen refresh token, the server immediately spots the anomaly and just pulls the plug on the entire session. Boom, secure. Section 5, Node.js implementation, the blueprint in action.
Okay, enough theory. Let's look at the actual Node.js Express server code you'd write to pull this off.
In our issuance endpoint, this is where the magic happens. The server builds a payload with all those required claims we just talked about and uses the JWT.sign method. Notice how we're passing in a private key variable and explicitly setting the algorithm to RS-256, our asymmetric friend. We are minting a super tight 5-minute access token. It's highly secure, perfectly scoped, and ready to be handed to the client. Then, over at your protected API endpoint, your middleware steps in as the strict bouncer using JWT.verify. But check this out, we pass it the public key this time. And we are ruthless here. We explicitly force it to expect the RS-256 algorithm, and we hard-code the exact audience we expect, like api.example.com. If a token fails literally any of these checks, immediate bounce, access denied.
Finally, Section 6, Final Takeaways, wrapping up the schematics.
Let's step back from the code for a second and lock in the core engineering principles here. If you are building hybrid Web2 Solana apps, sticking to these token rules is completely non-negotiable. You absolutely must use PKCE for public clients to keep tokens safe. You have to ruthlessly enforce those JWT claims, check that issuer, verify that audience, respect the expiration timer. Always prefer asymmetric keys so your distributed Solana endpoints can validate independently. And rotate your refresh tokens securely to kill session hijacking dead.
So as you go off and implement these slick, secure tokens, I want to leave you with a question to chew on. How is your architecture going to maintain consistent session states across web, mobile, and Solana components when these short-lived access tokens inevitably expire? It's like a giant puzzle, and that question actually sets the stage perfectly for our next explainer on session management in hybrid systems. Until then, keep building securely, and hey, make sure to visit forge.college to dive even deeper into Web3 integration patterns and master all the skills you need for the decentralized web. Thanks so much for hanging out with me on this Forge College explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.